Okay, Walter, I got your radio here. This is yours. Sorry about that. A little bit of when you got animals here. That's one thing. I guess if you guys are allergic to like pet hair or anything like that, I try not to. But I mean, when you have two big dogs and stuff like that, once in a while there might be even in the box, like the outer box or on the inside. It's hard to keep the dog hair. And you can vacuum and do all that stuff, but you know, just throwing that out there. It's not something that I'm like taking the radios and rolling them around in freaking clumps of hair, but you know, it can happen. So, um, got your FM deviation here about 3.9. This is about like right there, so that's good. High power FM is going to be 50, and low power FM is going to be around 1. So let's see, we'll do AM now. Set the powers levels first. The power, high power, I set it to 16. It doesn't need to be up that high. 16 is good because then you get some more swing, some more audio. Probably when the radio heats up, the carrier will come up some, but it's better than having it up in the 20s. So low power, I don't really recommend you running it down that low, but I'd never really know what somebody's going to do. And I try to set it around 1. Look, you can't see. There's 1. All right. Set the modulation now. Here's the transmit frequency on this. So it's pretty much right on the money, which they always are. So I could touch it up, but it makes literally no difference. So I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. AM modulation. So low power is only 53%. Now it's at 97. Sorry about that tone. When I first went into the service, I had the talk back on, so even if you shut it off, it stays on. I know it's really annoying, but it's more annoying to me probably than what it is to the guys watching the YouTube channel, but it might be too hot. Yeah, that's too hot, so I gotta turn that back some. See how that rounded off? I want it to round off, so that's better. It's rounded off there, okay? And it's rounded off there. So that's the low power. Not real fantastic, but again, the radio wasn't designed to be run at low power. It was designed to be run at high power because it's a high power radio. So, you know, you gotta stay within the parameters of what they made it for. Alright, so let's get this kind of situated. So I'm going to do that because I'm running out of this. There we go. So let's check my gain with the power all the way up. It's 92%. That's balls to the wall. I don't want to do that, but that's what it goes to. So there's 98%. It's pretty good there. So I think that's about as good as she's gonna get. And looks good there. Now we'll do the sideband on this, which is definitely a sore spot on these. We can handle it. Get ready for the funky sounding tone now. That's what it's going to sound like. So, sorry. Actually, I'm tired of listening to that. I'm gonna correct that. Okay, we shouldn't have that sound now. Okay. So now we're nice and quiet. Alright, so that's how it looks right now. It's not very good, so I'll go in and fix it up for you. Okay, so I didn't do anything yet to the radio, but just to show you, it's a real low number here. That's bad. It's real bad. So obviously peak power or RMS power is super high, which is also bad. It's a lot of stress on your MOSFETs, and this is what will blow up amplifiers super fast. Overdriven sideband is a #1 problem with a lot of probably guys with failures with amps, just because, you know, it's too much. So okay, there's about 21, so I'm going to be happy with that. And you can see that. Sorry if I got the camera, it's a little zoomed, but I think we can all kind of see what's going on here. Oops. So that's real pretty. However you want to look at it, it looks nice. Okay, let's get out of here. Here, look at that, very linear, everything looks the same. That's how it should look versus how it looked before. So that part is done, and she's not too hot. She's a little hot. The heat sink, I mean, it's not to the point where it's burning my hand, but it is warm, so let's come on to that view. Alright, so got your mic here. I set the radio up so you can keep your mic gain all the way up all the time. It's up to you how you want to run it. If you feel like you want to turn it down, you can. I don't think it's going to hurt anything turning it down to an extent. So the radio is already in dynamic mode for this, so you should be fine. This is the DX mic, so you don't have a RX line anyways. I'm going to kill that. I just paused that earlier. So you can run this on any 10-meter radio. You can run it on any CB radio, barring that you don't need the RX wire connected to the plug, because it's disconnected in here. Now they don't normally come with the wire in this side. It is in this side. I disconnected it here. I think the factory that makes these mics for these guys, they made a boo-boo and they sent the P4, which is the normal 4-pin Cobra style, instead in this packaging, which is fine because, you know, we can do one of two things. We can keep it as a P4 and just tell the customer later, hey, the boxes were misboxed at the factory, so if you want a 4-pin Cobra, it's essentially what this was. Now it's the DX, the way it should have been, except the DX that come should have it disconnected here. I disconnect here. Therefore, you can still hook it up. Now, in the future, when I get more of these at a certain point, I'm assuming they'll be back to the way they should be, where the wire is disconnected here. It's probably still connected here. So you could do one of two things. Again, you could cut the plug, desolder the plug, strip the wire back, and you could reconnect it, and essentially still use the mic as a standard 4-pin. So you can still do it. You just have to do that yourself. But right now, this works on any 10-meter radio, Stryker, Ranger, whatever that's 4-pin. Connex generally, any of that stuff, you know, Galaxy. So we should be on the same page there. Again, the mic here should really, this little indication should never exceed really the volume. This is going to be a good level here anyway, so let's put this power meter in PEP. So 1 2 3 1 2 3. So there's your sideband power. So it's going to be anywhere from 60 to 100 watts, all things considered. As we talk on sideband, and some of us are a little slower at the voice, then some guys are just, they're ripping, roaring, ready to go when they talk. I'm kind of a little more relaxed when I talk, so therefore probably you don't see as much power as you would if a guy just got in here, really got into it, and just, you know, like that. So I'm a little more like laid back because I'm usually tired from my work schedule and all that. But the radio's doing fine for power. What you won't notice is, or what you will notice anyways, is you're not going to see a ton of fluctuation on power here on sideband. That's because the meter is calibrated per the factory where it's way overblown. There's no way for me to calibrate that. I wish there was, because I'd love to calibrate it so that it would go over, because we are usually between 60 and plus 80 on power, but I can't do that, unfortunately. If you want to run less power, just turn your RF power down. Here's 50%, or really 12 o'clock. So at 12 o'clock, there's 50 watts. If you don't need to run the power, then don't run it. You know, that's my advice to you. On amateur radio, we should already know that we only need to run the power that actually is needed. Sometimes we don't give ourselves the opportunity to really know that, because we just run all the power that we have at our disposal. But sometimes it is nice to kind of get out of that mindset and just kind of run what we need, not what we have. You know, sometimes in certain situations, less is better. So I won't turn it down anymore, but as you turn it down, it'll continually go down. We'll go back to AM on this. And again, this is always in my bench dummy load, so we're not going over the air. As you can see now, the carrier did come up because the radio heated up a little bit, so I expect that. That's normal. Like on the last 10 meter radio video I did for the DX5000, here's the frequency again. It's pretty much hanging right on. If we span in here, you can see it's within, well, like 7 hertz. This is showing 2 hertz. I kind of believe this one more, although this is a good frequency counter and they're both on the same GPS reference. I kind of like this better. Well, it's just, you know, worry about the small things that don't matter. Some guys do, and they hyper focus on stuff and anything that they can use to try to make themselves look better. But again, this is AM right here. Now that noise gate function is on, so you can see that that carrier, that noise level, is way down there. If you turn that noise gate off, you will have like some ambient noise shown on the spectrum analyzer. And I feel like with this radio and the 655 Plus, it does actually degrade your audio somewhat. So if you ever reset the menu, which you're totally welcome to do, it's going to be your radio, just make sure to, let me show you the power here. So here's our power. So right now it's going up close to 100. So most likely if it cools just a little bit more, it will do the 100. But, you know, whether we're doing 90 or 100 is really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, the radio does what it does. So, and then the power adjustment here, the power meter is showing more accurate here, so we are doing well over 80 watts. So there you have it. If you turn this back, let's say to here, these radios won't really limit the power now because it's AM and they're designed for high power. So that is going to really drive amplifiers and all kinds of stuff right there with that high level modulation and that power. That's actually going to be louder there than what it is with it all the way up. So it may not show full fluctuation, even though it is somewhat. So I wouldn't really recommend running the radio any less than 12 o'clock on all modes, but that's up to you as far as that goes. Let me show you that noise gate function. Which is somewhere. You can change those if you want. This is like an EQ setting. Here's your mic type. Can stay there. It's right here, gate. So watch what happens if I shut that off. Okay, it's off. I'm going to kill the mic so that there's no sound being picked up. That's what it does. See that? That's like ambient noise that's being generated from the radio. And that's why I say when you turn that gate function on, that goes away like immediately. So we'll turn it back on. And that's why I recommend leaving it on. Gate on. You can just hit color. I didn't change the color on this one, but obviously you can change the colors and stuff. Usually I go with orange for whatever reason, but so now it's the same thing. The mic is muted basically. So see how it's gone? I like that a whole lot better. So hello radio, 1 2 3. See, you actually got more audio from a lower dead key, which is surprising, but it just is how things work. So let me I'm gonna go back in really quick to the service. I'm gonna touch up that frequency, just try to see what happens. I don't think it's gonna make a whole lot of difference, but before I close your order out here, I want to at least attempt to look at that, because one way or another we want to get it as close as I can. Oops, I gotta plug that cable in. Alright, let's go back here and do that. This. Alright, there we go. So go back to this. Okay, we need a carrier mode. I mean, she's pretty much right on the money. I'll expand in some and just see. Yeah, so there's really no point. And you can do this too and send it out to one more digit. It takes like 10 seconds gate time. It's kind of slow on this, but to get the most accuracy, you have to be a little more patient with it. But you can see the spectrum analyzer here. This is on FM. So 27.204.997. This one shows 27.204.999. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. It's as good as it can be. So that's fine. I'm going to shut the equipment off in here because we are done. I will hook the outside antenna up really quick to this. We'll just have a quick listen to what it's going to pick up. Hopefully there isn't a bunch of maniacs out there on 38, but we'll try to listen to that. But whoops, I shut it off. Fire it back up and let me put the antenna on. Real quick, I'll check the weather. Weather band.
Winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, mostly sunny in the morning, then becoming partly cloudy. Highs in the lower 50s. The west winds 5 to 10 miles.
Definitely getting chilly in Michigan. We almost talked about turning the heat on today. The furnace. Didn't. Don't want to yet.
Cloudy. Lows in the lower 30s. Saturday, mostly sunny.
Don't know which broadcast this is from.
Saturday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-30s. Sunday.
I would rather have this on my radio, the weather, than a lot of other features.
Sunday night, partly cloudy. Lows in the upper 30s. Monday, mostly sunny.
I'm waiting for them to say, like, this is so-and-so broadcasting from so-and-so. Sometimes they identify and say that.
Partly sunny with a 30% chance of rain showers. Highs in the upper 50s. Thanks for listening to NOAA Weather Radio Station WXK81 in Onondaga, transmitting on a frequency of 162.40 megahertz.
Onondaga. I want to look that up and see where that is. So if you live in Michigan, you kind of know what I'm showing you, but that's where the broadcast is. So I'm out of the area, because if you look where, it's not shown on this map, but if you look here, I'm like right here. So I'm just outside of the coverage of that. So that's pretty cool that it's able to pick that up. Okay, here's this one. This is on a horizontal dipole. This is the Mako BA1 antenna, which is about 50 feet up. It's pointing in a northeast-southwest configuration, and it's non-rotatable. I'll show you where this one is. So again, this is Grand Rapids. I'm like here, and this is broadcast way over here. So we're way out of the range. Let me switch to my vertical and see. It actually comes in a lot stronger. There's my end-fed half-wave wire. I don't expect you guys to really hear that, but it's pretty cool anyways. The thing's got a hell of a weather receiver, so you'll definitely hear stuff when you're out there. You can also set it up to receive VHF, like 2 meter and stuff like that. I think MERS band too. or maybe if there's police and stuff, EMS fire on the 150 megahertz. But it's pretty cool. Like I say, I'd rather have that option than like NRC and I don't know, like even Echo. I like Echo, but I don't need it. I like a good high cut.
Excuse me, I'm about 35 miles, just moving the antenna around to you. I'm about 35 miles.
He moved it away from me.
45 years as well. And I know exactly, listen, I can't help believe I can't remember it, Alex, but it doesn't matter. Listen for Duncan. At Braco, he comes from a wee small place called Braco, which is just north of Crete, just north of Perth. So have a chat with Duncan, he'll know the area very well.
It's better if you're going to use it for like HF, which personally I don't really use these radios or any of the sort for HF. Not saying they don't work okay, but I just primarily don't use them for that. But if it's the only radio I have sitting here, let's say I'll use it. Or if it's hooked up and I just don't want to hook something else up, so. But I don't like go out of my way to use this as like my I wouldn't use this as my primary HF radio. I hope that makes sense. But anyways, there you have it. I'm gonna get this one wrapped up, and we'll go back to the listening band for this radio. We can listen. Hello back. A lot of guys really like these radios because of the S meters. Everybody hammers you in the corner if you got conditions and stuff. I would say they're a little generous, although when you check them, they are accurate. So I don't know. To each his own on an S meter. Every radio has a different S meter. You can have 5 different HF radios, and each one will give you a different signal meter. A Yaesu, Icom, Kenwood, Alinco, whatever. Maybe even something older. They're all going to be different, so we can't always compare S meters to radio because it's an unfair comparison. But okay, I hope you enjoy it when you get it. I'm going to ship it UPS, I think. It'll get to you a little bit faster. So I don't always do that because it does cost me a little more money, but I'm heading that way, so I'm just going to do it for you. So I appreciate it, and 73. We'll catch everybody later.